Cardinals are scoring runs at a historic pace this season. And Nolan Arenado is doing what he does best for the Rockies, hitting the long ball. Each team has a rookie playing shortstop, and each shortstop is taking the big leagues by storm.
Three-run bomb, Trevor Story. Three-run homer, Aledmys Diaz.
Trevor Story and Aledmys Diaz aren't just the two best rookies. They're two of the best players in all of baseball. Some of the game's best and brightest are featured in this three-game set between the Redbirds and the Rockies. All right here on Fox Sports Midwest.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, the attention of the sports world here in the Gateway City, right here at Busch Stadium, and also down the street with the St. Louis Blues. It's game number one, the Rockies and the Cardinals. Arcia in the driver's seat, Yadier Molina swinging at a hot bat, 11 for his last 26 and a .423 average. And with Rick Horton and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball. The Cardinals return home. Long homestand begins tonight, and they return home after a very good road trip.
Yeah, nice to be back in the Central Standard Time zone. The Cardinals were good on that road trip. They won 4 out of 6 games. The offense continues to carry them. They're going to be playing against a very good Colorado offense in this series.
And that means Nolan Arenado, one of the top third basemen in the game. It's Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Peanuts, popcorn, Cracker Jack. It's all here at the ballpark. That means we have baseball. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is coming up. Our post-game show, player interviews, hear from the guys who know the Blues the best. Missouri Lottery Blues Live, our post-game show on Fox Sports Midwest. Coverage continues tonight after St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Good matchup here tonight. Chad Bettis gets the start for the Rockies. Features a fastball, slider, curve, and changeup. Very good sinker. And that's a look at your Hyundai pitch arsenal for Chad Bettis. On the other side, he's so good at home. That is Jaime Garcia. Fastball, cutter, change, curve on the Hyundai pitch arsenal. How about baseball? It's next. Show. Player interviews. Hear from the guys who know the Blues the best. Missouri Lottery Blues Live, our post-game show on Fox Sports Midwest. Coverage continues tonight after St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Good matchup here tonight. Chad Bettis gets the start for the Rockies. Features a fastball, slider, curve, and changeup. Very good sinker. And that's a look at your Hyundai pitch arsenal for Chad Bettis. On the other side, he's so good at home. That is Jaime Garcia. Fastball, cutter, change, curve on the Hyundai pitch arsenal. How about baseball? It's next. Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Jim Hayes is here. Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. On a chilly night in May here in St. Louis. Rick, it's not supposed to be this cold. Why didn't you tell me to bring my heavy coat?
I should have warned you, shouldn't I?
You should have.
I did not, didn't think that was going to happen after coming from the West Coast. We had some chilly nights there, but this is very, very different, isn't it?
It is.
We can handle it.
Well, we're going to try. My partner, by the way, tonight not feeling too well.
Yes, but I'm feeling much better now that I'm with you.
Oh, my gosh. Blackman, Story, Arenado, then Gonzalez, Reynolds, Rayburn, LeMahieu, Garneau, and Bettis against Jaime Garcia, who gets the call tonight for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Garcia is good when he stays down in the zone. You look at his numbers on the season. Last time out, he won in Anaheim and really pitched a gem. No earned runs in that game, a lot of strikeouts. And when Jaime's down in the zone, as I mentioned, he's effective, and he's going to need to be against this lineup. We talked about it in the open, Dan. This lineup's good.
Really good. Arenado, Blackman, Carlos Gonzalez, Trevor Story. And they've been good not only at home but also on the road. And when you talk about the Rockies, it's always what do the splits look like? And they have put up good numbers away from Coors Field. Charlie Blackmon saw his 11-game hit streak snapped on Sunday. And he has had good numbers against the Cardinals in his career. A .355 hitter against St. Louis. Little chopper, pulled foul.
Blackman's name came up quite a bit in the offseason, and he was a potential trade guy. He'd had such a good year. There were a lot of teams interested in him, and the Rockies were shopping him a bit, and they decided at the last minute to keep him. I think they're probably glad they did.
Hitting .375 this year against left-handed pitching. Plays every day. And the 1-2 pitch put in play. Slap to Carpenter. Stayed with it. The stretch by Adams for the out. Dobbs Tire Auto Center's defense for Mike Matheny's club tonight. Holiday, the former Rocky, in left. Hazelbaker in center. Stephen Piscotty is in right. Carpenter, Diaz, Wong, and Adams on the infield. Molina behind the plate.
Hazelbaker getting the start in center field. Mike Matheny was asked before the game about him or Grichuk, and he said really either of them could be in the lineup, but right now you've got to give Hazelbaker opportunities, and when he gets the opportunities, he's been taking advantage of them.
Home run over the weekend against the Dodgers. There's a ball low to Trevor Story. Had 10 home runs in the first month of the season, most ever by a National League rookie in the month of April. Albert Pujols in 2001 had 8, and Story had 10. Fly ball that'll stay in the ballpark. Off the end of the bat, there's Piscotty. Toyota key to the game.
Well, Dan, you and I were talking about this before the game. I think that the key really not just to this game, but really to this entire homestand is winning at home. Home cooking. The Cardinals traditionally have been a good team at home. Their record so far just 9-10. You've got some tough teams on this homestand. You've got the Rockies, then you've got the D-backs, then you have the Cubs. You have to take advantage of being at home, put up good numbers here at home, and we expect that to be the case.
Nolan Arenado. This guy is some kind of player. He's already won 3 Gold Gloves. He's got 13 home runs. Batting above 300. He's driven in 32. Some are saying he is the best defensive third baseman they have ever seen.
Wow.
Ever. Not Brooks Robinson, not Scott Rowland, not Mike Schmidt. This guy.
A number that stands out for me about Arenado is his power relative to his strikeouts. Only 16 thus far.
We mentioned this earlier. The splits for the team have been okay away from Coors Field. Arenado are really good numbers away from Coors. They had 294 at home. It's an offensive park, as we know. 263 on the road. They've hit more home runs on the road. Slightly fewer in the RBI department. The 3-1 pitch. Arenado to third, and that is a foul ball. And we talk about third baseman. Those that I talked to said he's the best defensive third baseman. Not the best they've ever seen, but the best defensive third baseman they'd ever seen. The total package, though, it's pretty darn good.
Love to have good defense on the left side of the infield, certainly the shortstop, but when your third baseman can pick it, I know from experience, it's nice to have a guy that you keep busy over there. In my world, it was Ken Oberkfell, then Terry Pendleton, but you mentioned Scott Rowland. How much fun was it to watch him play day after day? So to be thought of in that category is pretty impressive.
And he draws a 2-out walk. Garcia has won his last 2 starts. Angels and Phillies. Allowed 2 runs, 0 earned in 14 innings. And we know that he loves to pitch at home. Carlos Gonzalez with a solo home run on Sunday. First home run and RBI this month. And good numbers against Jaime Garcia. 6 for 12, couple of doubles and a home run in his career.
I think if I'd have told you by the time this series came up on May 16th that one of the 2 teams at the ballpark here would be leading the National League in home runs, you'd have said, of course, the Rockies.
Sure.
The answer is it's the Cardinals.
Cardinals lead the league and second in Major League Baseball. I didn't see that coming out of spring training.
Me neither. There's a few things I didn't see coming. Aledmys Diaz would be one of them.
The offensive start of Yadier Molina. Here's an 0-1 pitch. And now with 2 strikes. Cardinals doing this a little bit more. We saw it on the road trip that Matt Carpenter with 2 strikes will shift from third to second base.
Cargo is one of those guys that can hit left-handed pitching. Garcia can be doubly tough on left-handers, but has not pitched well against Gonzalez for some reason. And sometimes that's just a bad day. You hang a few pitches and the numbers get swelled.
Popped up and out of play. That'll find the seats. Wonder how many fans tonight have picture-in-picture at home watching the Cardinal game and making sure they keep an eye on the Blues. I know guess that's what I would be doing.
I would guess there'd be many.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Gonzalez. Instead, a check on Arenado. Old buddy Mark Reynolds is on deck. Former Cardinal. Played in St. Louis for 1 year. And an 0-2 pitch. High fly ball lifted out to center. Hazelbaker is back at the wall and just enough room. Cool night. Ball doesn't carry quite as well. And Gonzalez is out number 3. In St. Louis. Matt Carpenter swinging a hot bat. He'll lead it off, followed by Stephen Piscotty and Matt Holliday. Then Matt Adams, Yadier Molina, Jeremy Hazelbaker, Aledmys Diaz, Colton Wong, and Jaime Garcia. You made the comment to me as we get a look at the starter Chad Bettis during the break. Very well could have been 3-0 if we're playing in Colorado. I agree.
Well, you think of the line drive to right that Story hit. He hit that ball pretty hard and back to the warning track and right. And on the right day with the ball carrying, I think that's out of Coors Field. And the way Gonzalez got a hold of his as well. In fact, we saw the ball carry pretty well in Los Angeles, which is unusual. A lot of times the night the ball doesn't carry as much, but it did in Anaheim and at Dodger Stadium.
Cardinals with 10 home runs on the road trip and 37 runs scored. 2 balls and 1 strike. Three and 2. Carpenter out to center field. Blackmon is back and with room. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense for the Rockies. Rayburn in left, Blackmon in center, Cargo in right. Arenado, Story, LeMahieu, Reynolds along the infield, and Garneau is behind the plate. Walt Weiss is back for another year in Colorado.
And I'd say off to a pretty good start. They're 19-18. I don't think a lot of people were expecting them to be where they are. And in the National League West, Dan, I would say it's up for grabs.
On a hop to DJ LeMahieu. 2 years ago, he won the Gold Glove Award. Colorado starts a game and a half back of San Francisco, tied with the Dodgers, and all these teams are within 4.5.
And for those who may not know the story of Walt Weiss, a terrific player in his own right, and has a very similar story to Mike Matheny. He's coaching high school age kids, and then all of a sudden got the call to be a big league manager and kind of went from A to B in a hurry and learned on the job. Both of them did. And certainly Mike Matheny's had a winning tenure, 94 wins per year since he's been the Cardinal manager, second in the Manager of the Year voting a year ago. And I think Weiss learning as he goes, and maybe he's got something this year.
No balls and 2 strikes on Holiday. 38 games against his former team as you look at the numbers for Mike Matheny. But Holiday has destroyed the Rockies. 38 games, 35 RBIs, 11 home runs, and his average is close to 400. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
What's so interesting about the former team comments, and when you played as long as Matt Holliday is, those guys aren't out there. They're not his former teammates.
No. The 2-2. Ouch. Off his foot.
I would venture a guess that there's about 4 or 5 guys out there that don't know that he used to play for the Rockies.
Right. Well, he used to play for Oakland. He's hit them well. You see the Rockies on that list, the highest career OPS. One-two is hit up the middle. Trevor Story, nice play. So the Cardinals go in order. We get to the second, and there's no score. TV Premium, #1 live streaming sports service. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Shouldn't one be for your right ear and the other one be for your left ear? I'm a little confused, Dan. Can you sort that out for me?
What happens if the person on the left all of a sudden wants to get up quickly?
I think he's got the left ear in the. I think that's supposed to be for his left ear. Where's Jim Hay?
Jimmy is also a little bit under the weather. Reynolds on the first pitch breaks his bat, and there is Colton Wong. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks as we get a look at the previous pitch by Garcia.
Talked about the ability for Garcia to have a ball low in the zone. That's a low runner. That was not meant to necessarily be on the inner half, but the movement of Jaime Garcia, there are times, Dan, where we've seen him be difficult to catch. It's always difficult to hit, but even to catch with the movement that he has, and the movement is always late. Something we probably don't talk enough about. Late movement, a lot more important than kind of the slow movement. Is why a slow curveball is not as effective as that sharp late breaking pitch that we see.
Here is Ryan Rayburn, 9 for his last 24, and 5 of the 9 have gone for extra bases. What a time we had last night with Whitey Herzog.
Oh boy, I bet it was great.
Our speaker series featured the White Rat. So many great stories and interesting information that I wasn't, I've heard him talk a number of times, as have you, but there were certain things I found out last night that I didn't know about. One of them being why he did not take another job after St. Louis. And he said, there is no way I could find a situation with an owner as good as I had it with Gussie Busch. And I wasn't about to find out another place and what it was like. And there's the I think he's wearing a Roger Maris jacket. See the logo there?
That's his White Rat golf tournament hat. The Herzog Youth Foundation tournament will be in September, and Whitey just fits here at the ballpark, doesn't he?
He does.
He's hand in glove being here, and it's so good that he shows up as often as he does, and he's not just here, he's watching.
3-2 pitch. Pulled foul. Told some great stories about Roger Maris, and those two were very, very close. My favorite story, though, was Don Dinkinger. And I asked Whitey, I said, well, Whitey, do you get along with Don Dinkinger, after what happened in 1985? Oh, yeah, sure we do. As a matter of fact, I brought him to my golf tournament, and we were celebrating the 1985 team, and Don was very kind to come and show up and be a part of it. And he said, for anybody that comes to my tournaments,
you get a gift.
You get a gift. So we called him on stage. He said, Don, thanks for being here. I want to give you this watch.
Wow, very nice.
It was a Braille watch.
Classic.
Love the White Rat. Re-energize this city. The kind of baseball that your clubs play. Tag there by Adams, advancing Rayburn, and now you have Garneau.
Not exactly sure what the percentages are with having LeMahieu bunt, but I'm happy with him from a Cardinal point of view. I think he's a tough out. You got a guy in scoring position, but you take the out there, don't you?
Rick, he was 14 for 28 against the Cardinals last year. Cardinals couldn't get him out. And so now you deal with the 8th place hitter, Dustin Garneau.
He had to have been thinking base hit on that bunt. The only way that makes sense, but it didn't really look like much of a bunt for a hit attempt.
That's pulled foul.
That's a head scratcher.
Well, the other thing too is in this situation now, if you're not comfortable facing Garneau, you have the pitcher on deck who's 1 for 14.
We used to have a saying, it's hey, I don't want to drive him in, you do it. That's what it.
You pass the buck.
You pass the. That's what it feels like. And LeMahieu, I have great respect for his ability to hit. I think he's He's, as you mentioned, tough out.
Hey, thanks for coming to the event last night, by the way. That was great.
Did you invite me?
Wait a minute. I didn't. Oh. Anyway. Thanks a lot, Ricky.
I was there in spirit, Dan.
Here's the 0-2. On a hop to Carpenter. Over to Adams. We're midway through 2, and there's no score from Busch Stadium. And trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. By Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. And by the Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Here's Adams bunting against the shift. And he's out by a step. Chad Bettis with the play, hopping off the mound. Bettis pitched at Texas Tech. Second-round pick back in 2010. Many Blues fans are here tonight.
Now, it may sound as if I'm being inconsistent, but I believe there's a difference. I like Matt Adams bunting in that situation. He is clearly bunting for a hit, and anything further to the left is a hit. Now, what you teach a guy who's bunting for a hit is you bunt for the line, and if you're going to miss foul. You don't miss fair, you miss foul. So if you miss foul, it's just a strike. And so it's just a matter of having the wrong angle. But situationally, if they're going to give you a hit and you can just bunt the ball down the third base line, I take it, especially leading off an inning.
Sure. Matt was telling me the other day that it was Chris Maloney that really helped him with his bunting in spring training. He said, I was with all these jackrabbits and guys that can fly, and all of a sudden there's Matt Adams in the middle of the group trying to pick up bunting, and Chris Maloney has really helped him in that regard.
I think Matt's been better with the bat, including going the other way, than everybody gives him credit for, including all of baseball. Though he put the shift on him, yet half of his hits recently have been the other way. When do those numbers change and those reports change? And all of a sudden you get a report on Matt Adams, you say, well, he's getting half of his hits the other way. We should put everybody over there.
Going the other way, it's Molina. There's LeMahieu, makes the play. The bold and refreshing frozen strawberry lemonade. It's back, and it's only available at McDonald's.
You said that with passion.
Oh, yeah, you got to sell it, Rick. LeMahieu, you know, ranging there to his left. Second baseman of the Rockies. He's pretty smooth, and he's a big guy. That's the one thing that, you know, separates him from some of the other second basemen, just how big he is.
The name's escaping me. The all-time tallest second baseman. You and I looked it up last year. Somebody played for the Giants. He was like 6'6", 6'7". High Pockets Kelly. It just came to me.
Everybody remembers High Pockets Kelly. Can't believe you forgot. That's a slap in the face
of the
family of High Pockets Kelly.
They'll get over it.
LeMahieu is 6'4", 215. Here's a 1-2. And a strikeout of Hazelbaker. First of the night for Chad Bettis. We head to the third, and there's no score. Deal. Cardinals get 9 hits tonight. You're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow. Receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. And stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations or the locations in Bloomington or Springfield, Illinois for this sensational deal. The strike to Chad Bettis, and we're underway here in the top of the third. Mentioned that Bettis was drafted back in 2010. And that year, Bryce Harper went #1. Manny Machado was in the first round. Matt Harvey. If you're wondering, the Cardinals picked 25th overall, and they chose Zach Cox, third baseman out of Arkansas. He's now playing independent baseball. And Cox was part of the Edward Mujica deal. Mujica had a nice run here in St. Louis, albeit brief.
He sure did. Well, sometimes you get the #1 pick to play for you, and sometimes it becomes a chip to get somebody else to play for you.
Tails away, and the strikeout, the first of the night for Jaime Garcia. Yes, it's T-Mobile time. So what's happening? The greater coverage of baseball. Daniel Murphy returning to New York, leads all of baseball in average. Kyle Hendricks, great numbers against Milwaukee in his career, and Matt Bum is on the bump for the Giants. Madison Bumgarner, 60 strikeouts in 8 starts. We were watching the Mets and the Nationals before we came on the air with our ball game here, and Daniel Murphy got a standing ovation from the crowd at Citi Field.
Such a good pickup for the Nationals, isn't he? I mean, not just because he's hitting 400, but always just been a good clutch hitter. And that team already had a good lineup.
Here's the 0-1. He went through an awful lot in New York, too, in terms of making the transition to second base, which at times they said it was painful to watch. Was not a natural second baseman. But with David Wright at third, they needed a place for him to play. That's hit over Diaz and into left center field.
We've talked about Garcia being down. Can't get much more down than that. That is in the bottom of the zone. It is away a bit. Chalk that up to a good swing by Charlie Blackmon, who runs well. Be careful here. Rockies don't run a lot. They have 18 stolen bases to the Cardinals 12, but they've gotten thrown out 16 times. I guess they do run more often than the Cardinals, but they get thrown out an awful lot more.
We're going to have the chance to visit with Chris Duncan coming up in the bottom of the third. Throughout our ceremonial first pitch, this is a celebration of the 2006 championship team all summer long.
Did you get one of his bobbleheads?
Well, I expect him to bring a couple of bobbleheads for both of us. He says absolutely not. And by the way, I'm not going to argue with him because he looks like Grizzly Adams right now.
He can take you.
Well, we knew his dad could fight. We saw that. Like father, like son. Swing and a miss. Molina to second, and not in time. Blackmon is third stolen base.
I do love the 2006 celebration that we're doing this year. It's hard to imagine in some ways that was 10 years ago. There's the jump by Blackmon, and Yadi really doesn't have a chance here. That throw was as quick as could be out of Yadi's glove to hand. The transition, there was no problem there. It was a good pitch up in the zone to throw with, but you can't overcome that jump.
83 wins for the 06 champions. Get hot at the right time and you can do some damage, and they did.
When Chris visits with you, you'll have to ask him about the time I said on the air that he wasn't the greatest of left fielders and his dad almost hit me. Until Chris agreed. Then I was off the hook.
I'll let you ask him. I'm still scared of him.
No, I want you to ask him. I want to see how that goes.
Not a chance. Now Dave Duncan working with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Shelly Duncan, Chris's brother, is managing A-ball. And Chris, you can hear him daily, the airwaves here in St. Louis.
Does a terrific job.
.101 ESPN. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner at second is Blackmon. Story is hitting a home run every 13 at bats. Jose Reyes serving a suspension. The trade of Troy Tulowitzki to the Blue Jays, and it's opened up the door for Story. Now he leads all rookies with 25 extra base hits, and right behind him is Aledmys Diaz with 20.
I think for both of these shortstops, it'll be fun to watch how baseball adjusts to them. Jock Peterson, we were just in LA, had that big first half of the season a year ago where he was an all-star and then struggled in the second half. But these two guys are putting up big numbers. 11 home runs you mentioned for Story. Diaz, the OPS through the roof for Diaz. But pitchers, well, they're not all dumb. They're going to try to figure out, how do we get these guys out? What adjustment do we make and how they adjust back is going to be very important in the second half.
The 0-2. Now, Trevor Story spent 5 years in the minor leagues. He averaged 14 home runs a season, 10 in the first month, 11 total. He was the 45th pick overall back in 2011. Here's a 1-2. And Garcia picks up his second strikeout.
Just to finish my thoughts on these two guys, Story, really phenomenal first couple of weeks in the big leagues for a young guy to do what he did. But in my mind, and I don't think it's a biased comment, the best rookie shortstop in the National League in the month of April was Aledmys Diaz.
Sure. Nolan Arenado. A lot of talk today before the game, especially with General Manager John Mozeliak meeting with the media about the Cardinals defense, and in particular Aledmys Diaz, who's committed 9 errors this year. But as he pointed out, it's not just Diaz. Carpenter has 5, Wong with 4.
He pointed out very clearly things we've been saying about this is that, you know, without a shored up defense, and Peralta, who's getting closer and closer, certainly a steady guy, but when we make errors on the defensive side, as Mo said, you throw more pitches, you give more outs. It's like a pitcher throwing an extra inning every night. Things are going to happen, and it's also wear and tear on your staff. So defense, he understands. I think everybody understands it can be better. It's not that they're not working at it. It's just something that needs to be
ripped
improved.
out to left, and short hop, drops in for a base hit, and a run will score. Holiday playing very deep. Arenado hits a rocket out to left and picks up an RBI. It's 1-0 Rockies. The ball was hit hard.
Well, this does not come under the category of a ball that ought to be caught, and again a pitch down below the zone even. And Holiday, a pretty good low ball hitter himself, at least stops the baseball. I'm not sure how he got any piece of his body on that. But a sinking line drive, so tough to catch. This is the Rockies understanding that Garcia is going to try to get him out down, and a couple of hits in this inning are on pitches down in the zone.
Here's Cargo, fly to deep center field. 0 for 1.
So the pitching coach advice you give at this moment is not pitch up in the zone, because now you're going against your strength. Pitch lower. If they're looking down, throw it a little bit lower, and then you get the ground ball you want.
Here's the 0-1. There's your ground ball. Backing up, Colton Wong. And from that championship team of 2006, special night for Chris Duncan. A chance to visit with him when we come back. back with you. It's 1-0 Rockies. Dunk, ask and you shall receive. I get my Chris Duncan bobblehead. I appreciate that.
You know, I thought these bobbleheads were going to be a lot taller. They're kind of short, but it's pretty fantastic, really, to think about it. Just, I never thought I'd have a bobblehead doll. I was pretty pumped about that.
Well, they got a little facial hair right there
on the chin,
and then now you have more than
full
most,
beard.
Yeah,
playoff beard.
It's a playoff.
The
beard.
Blues.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, you're doing a great job on the radio.
Thank
by
you.
the way.
I appreciate that.
You enjoying
I really
it?
do. I love it.
Good.
I love it more than anything. And I got a great partner. Anthony Stalter's fun to work with, and Dan Bedlock, the producer. So I'm with the right group of guys, and it makes it fun going to work every day.
We miss you on the TV side. You going to get back with us?
I miss the TV, but I think I got more of a face for radio, is what people keep telling me, Dan. So I'll just stick with the radio.
How's Papa Dunk?
He's doing good.
Yeah?
He's doing good.
Is it hard to believe it's been 10 years since that 06 team?
It's nuts. It seems like it flew by.
Yeah.
It really does.
What do you remember?
Seems like yesterday.
What do you take away from that team?
Well, I remember Jeff Suppan pitching lights out in the second half.
Yep.
And being a guy we could rely on every time he went out there. I remember Jim Edmonds leading us down the stretch in New York, just the leadership that he showed. I was just a young kid. I was just going out there trying not to let anybody down, do what I could.
22 home runs for Chris Duncan that year.
I don't know how it happened. Seems like fantasy land when I look back.
I looked at your career here in St. Louis, and I thought you were put in a couple of tough spots. One, you had a guy that's a future Hall of Famer at first base, which is your position. So now you got to go out and play the outfield. Then, unfair or not, your dad's part of the coaching staff. And it doesn't matter who it is. It's still going to be tough if that's your dad in there. And the other thing was, you had to hit at many times, and correct me if I'm wrong, but behind Albert Pujols. So the pressure of trying to put up numbers so that he might see a pitch to hit also was there for Chris Duncan.
Well, you know, I think I did as well as I did my rookie year because I hit in front of him. And I feel like Tony really played me the right way, and I had an aggressive mindset. I had that feeling that they were going to pitch to me.
Sure.
So I think a lot of my success was because of Albert, because of Tony, how he played me. And he knew what type of pitchers I could hit, which ones I couldn't. And I really benefited from that. My second year when I had to bat behind him, that was tough at times. It's tough to bat fourth in the big leagues. A lot of people don't realize that. Very tough.
For fans that don't know, you had a medical scare.
A little bit.
Yeah, but you made it through, and everything is a clean bill of health. Yes?
I'm doing great. I'm
Awesome.
doing great right now. Knock
That's
on
great.
wood.
That's great. There's a walk to Colton Wong. That's his 9th walk this year, and it brings in Jaime Garcia. I listen to you every day, by the way, and I mean it. You do a great job. And I know you're watching these games day in and day out. What do you think of this team right now?
You know, it's hard for me because I was a bad defender, but I can see why people would get frustrated when I miss balls. And I think this team needs to play better defense. If they want to compete with the Cubs, as good as the Cubs are with all the different starting pitchers they have and the defense that they run out there and the offensive explosion they have in the middle of their lineup, the Cards are going to have to play better defense, especially up the middle.
This is Jaime Garcia. Now, part of that 06 team featured Yadier Molina, who came up in 2004, and a closer by the name of Adam Wainwright. They're still going strong today. Does that surprise you at all that these guys are still doing what they're doing at this level?
Not with Yadi. I really think he's probably one of the better catchers in the history of baseball. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. He's such a great defensive player. And I think over time he's really learned how to swing the bat.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, I wouldn't be surprised at all that if Yadi got into the Hall of Fame and he just kept playing for multiple years. He's so good defensively.
Have you heard me say on the games that you and Brad Thompson were the last two guys I ever thought would get into media?
Yes. I've had like 15 people tell me that. Even more than that.
There's a foul ball. Dunk, I would go to you for an interview and you know, you weren't mean about it, but you didn't want to talk. And now you talk for a living. Where did it come from?
I felt uncomfortable talking for the team as a young player.
Yeah.
I felt lucky just to be there, and I was trying to be humble. And sometimes I felt uncomfortable with the media and learning how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Now I respect the media more that I've been involved with it, and I understand how important it is as a player to be able to communicate with the media and do better interviews than I did. I was bad at it.
You weren't bad at it.
It was, you know,
when we
I was
got
quiet.
you talking, you were great.
A lot of people say I was bad at it. I was too quiet. I should have been more vocal.
Now, Brad Thompson, I've told this story many times. He was called up, and I go in to say, hey, welcome to the big leagues. I'm Dan. I do the TV. If you ever need anything, let me know. Might have to bug you a couple times for interviews. except I couldn't get him to get off his headset listening to whatever he was listening to and staring into his locker. He didn't deviate from that. I mean, he didn't move, and he was so scared. And now you guys just yap away.
You know what, though? When the media wasn't there, he was a funny guy.
He's hilarious.
Away from the field, he was a funny guy. He was really funny, making jokes all the time on airplanes, bus rides. He was pretty humorous. And he carried that over into the media, and he does a great job on the fast lane.
You going to stay with us for a half inning?
If you want me to, I will. Yeah.
We'd love to have you. Chris Duncan is with us from the championship team of 2006. Month, Fox Sports Supports proud to team up with NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, and their commitment to improving the lives of families and those affected by mental health conditions. Learn more about the stigma and free and visit foxsportssupports.com. Here's Mike Reynolds. Now this is your kind of guy. I mean, Reynolds,
he's got a good swing. He lets it rip. He might strike out, but you know what? He can hit a 3-run home run and change the game in a heartbeat. He was a good player for the Cardinals last year. Really good player.
Last year, he had 13 home runs wearing the birds on the bat. Chris Duncan, by the way, is with us. His bobblehead night throughout the first pitch. By the way, the arm. If you're going to play in fantasy camp, I saw your first pitch. You need to start airing that thing out a little bit.
No bueno. My arm's no bueno. I told my wife down there, I said, I can let it loose and throw it as hard as I can, and I'm fine. Or I can lob it, but that medium speed, I just don't have it. It's not in my repertoire.
Why didn't you let it rip?
I don't know, because there's people everywhere. My wife's family, I was scared I was going to drill somebody in the head. I couldn't let it rip. I couldn't let it rip.
Were you nervous?
I was nervous. I really was.
This coming from the guy that played on the biggest stage in October, and you're telling me you're nervous with the first pitch?
Well, when I was on the biggest stage, I was even more nervous. I was nervous my whole career, so it's just part of my game.
How'd you get through that? You know, the nerves and...
I never did in the outfield, to be honest with you. Looking back, I never did in the outfield, but at the plate, I felt like I had nothing to lose. And there was times where I took some great at-bats against good pitchers because I knew what's the worst that's going to happen. They're going to strike me out.
Sure.
You know, but it was different in the outfield, different in the field for me.
Does your dad miss it? I mean, I know he's still involved in the game, but not day-to-day in uniform. Does he miss it?
He does. He watches every game, watches every Diamondbacks game, breaks down the pitching, talks to Tony all the time, talks to the pitching coach. I think he gets frustrated at times. Out there in Arizona, they probably thought that Greinke was going to be better than he is, and Shelby Miller really hasn't reached his potential yet. But it's fun for him. He can't give it up. He's a lifer.
Your dad should be in the Hall of Fame.
I wish he would get in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, you look at what he did, the body of work, great teams he was a part of. They need to start taking a look at that. Guys that have had, you know, that long look at a pitching coach and the difference that they make with certain guys, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
You know, I look back at everything he accomplished, and it amazes me.
Yeah.
That was my dad. And he coached that many Cy Young winners. He caught that many Cy Young winners.
Sure.
But he was a great pitching coach. He was quiet, but he didn't say something unless something needed to be said. And I think that's why he was so good.
What was the celebration like in 2006? What do you remember from it?
Nothing. I can't remember it. It never ended.
It never ended.
No, it was fun. My brother was there. My dad was there. And just the celebration with all the players you went through the grind with down the stretch. It was It was unbelievable. It was something that's special. Really special.
How much did you, and I'm curious, how much were you in the clubhouse with your dad and Tony growing up?
All the time. All the time.
So being able to celebrate with them as a player must have been as unique and special of a situation you can find.
It was. I knew Dave McKay. I knew Oquendo since I was 15. I knew Tony since I was a little kid. In the early 90s, there was times where the A's weren't playing as good, and Tony would let me sit on the bench next to him, getting a chance to watch him manage. There was times I sat in his office when he'd be meeting with Sandy Alderson. They're talking about different players. Me and my brother grew up in a special environment. We were very lucky to grow up like that.
It's amazing.
So it was special for me when we won the World Series to be able to look over and see my dad and Tony, and it was incredible. A special moment.
Where's your ring?
I didn't wear it. I don't know why I didn't wear it. I got it in a safe.
Got to have it in a safe.
Got to protect it. Got to put it in a safe.
Yeah. Now, for fans that are curious about when you're on the radio, it's 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN.
At what time?
Well, from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Do you like the grind of doing radio every day?
I love it.
Do you?
I love it.
I mean, we say it's a grind. I mean, it's
we're talking
sports, right?
Talking sports.
It's a pretty good deal.
You know what? I love my partner, Anthony Stalter. He does a great job. I love my boss. We call him Hoss, Chris Newport. He's fantastic. When you're working with good people, it makes it easy, makes it fun. John, the president of Hubbard Radio, he does a great job. And my producer, Dan Bedlock, all those guys are so fun to work with.
Did you think when you were playing that you might get into media? Did you know in the back of your mind that you might enjoy it?
I never thought I would get into radio. I really didn't. I was single-minded. All I thought about is being a successful player.
Sure.
That's all I focused on. I didn't have a backup plan. But when I was done playing, I kind of sat down and looked at what direction I wanted to go in. And I got a phone call from Jason Barrett at the time that was working there, and he wanted me to come in and do some stuff, some minor stuff. So I just went full bore right at it, and I found out that I loved it.
Do you stay in touch with a lot of the 06 guys?
You know who I talk to a lot is Aaron Miles.
Yeah,
I'll
he
talk
was
to
at
him.
Fantasy
Skip
Camp this
Schumacher.
last. Yeah.
You know, I'll talk to Skip Schumacher. Certain guys I'll talk to. Text message.
Sure. One out, runner at first. That was the walk to Reynolds. Rayburn struck out, and here's DJ LeMahieu. 1-0 Rockies on the RBI by Nolan Arenado. Up the middle and a base hit just past Garcia and into center field. How about Tony? Do you still talk to Tony much?
I do. I give him a call every now and then.
It sounds like he likes it.
He's relentless. He just keeps going.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's a grind, and he just keeps going. The energy he has for how old he is incredible to me.
What did you take away playing for Tony?
He was intense. His intensity.
Yeah. Just nonstop intensity.
I would say so. Wouldn't you think that?
Yeah, I think he got the best out of players. I always felt that he did. And if a player didn't necessarily agree with a move, he had such great respect among those that were in that clubhouse that, you know what, I may not like the move, I may not agree with it, but I respect the man. And trying to get that in this day and age in all sports, from your manager, your coach, it's a hard thing to do.
I think in today's game, a lot of people are looking for that pat on the back.
Yeah.
And that positivity, and I think that's a plus. As a player, I like that when someone was positive with me, but sometimes Tony was the opposite.
There's a base hit into center field. And a run will score to make it 2-0.
He would be positive, but at the same time, if you weren't playing good, he would look at you different. Like you need to step your game up, that intensity.
The fear of Tony?
Not a fear, but you knew this guy wanted to win, no matter what it took.
Here's LeMahieu playing in front of him, so he goes first to third. And it brings in the pitcher, Chad Bettis. I'm not sure we have seen in the last 10, 15 years outside of the David Freese game a better game than Game 7 in New York against the Mets. to clinch the pennant. It was incredible.
I talked to people about how intense that was, and I think about Shea Stadium at the time, the old Shea Stadium.
It was rocking.
It was
Literally.
rocking. I felt it in the outfield.
Yeah.
I was shaking. And I remember Jim telling me in center field, hey, put your hat down as low as you can, ignore the noise, and just stay focused. It was intense. I stepped in the box, and I could feel my legs shaking. I had to step out, deep breath, step back in, still shaking. I stepped out. I was like, holy smokes. Stepped in the third time, they were still shaking. I said, well, I guess I'm going to have to learn how to hit with my legs shaking.
Let it rip. Andy Chavez made the catch. You're thinking, uh-oh. As they throw down to third, LeMahieu back safely. Yachty comes up with a big home run. And Wainwright, the curveball that freezes Carlos Beltran, and you're off to Detroit. So many people, and you talk to guys now that are retired from that team, and they mention how Molina guided the pitching staff through that series in conjunction with your dad and scouting reports and how they wanted to approach certain hitters, and that lineup was loaded for the Mets that year.
Delgado, Beltran,
Reyes,
David Wright.
And no chance to turn two as a run scores. So LeMahieu scores the third run for the Rockies. As a guy that could take a second baseman or a shortstop out, what do you think of the new rules on the slide?
To be honest with you, I don't like them. I really don't.
I mean, you went hard into the bag at second.
I didn't have a lot of tools, but one of my tools was base running, and I always took pride in being able to take the guy out. Say first and third, one out. They have a chance to turn a double play. I took pride in blowing that guy up, making sure they didn't turn two, getting the run across. You know, that was something that I really appreciated, or I took advantage of as a player to try to enhance my base running. So when they take that away, or running over the catcher, those were some of the things that I took pride in being good at.
It's part of the game.
And it is part of the game.
Top of the lineup, and a strike to Charlie Blackmon. Now there is a celebration of that 06 team coming up. Will you be back for that?
Yes.
That'll be great. Many of those players coming back. I think just about every one. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Ground ball, and there's Adams. Race to the bag, and he's there. Chris Duncan, great to see you.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Stay healthy.
I will.
Have you tuned in tomorrow? I'll be listening.
Thank you.
Be nice to me.
Please do. I will. I will.
Be nice.
I will. You got it.
Is here. Dan McLaughlin. Many thanks to Chris Duncan. Great to be able to catch up with Dunk.
Just had a memory while you guys were talking. That was terrific, and love the conversation about 2006. And somewhere in the middle of your conversation, I had a flashback to the last time I threw a ball in a Cardinal uniform was in spring training, they used to let me go throw batting practice, and I threw one out of the cage that Chris Duncan was hitting in. I threw it about, I'm saying 15 feet behind him, and I was done.
And that was it.
Well, he walked out, and then I was done.
What did he say to you?
Nothing. No, he's very respectful, but he wasn't going to hit again.
Remember, we couldn't get him to talk.
I know.
For the longest time. And he was always respectful. He was great. I mean, if you did get him, it usually was times off camera or
right.
when we were traveling, we'd have the chance to visit. And he later has told me, he said, I was so worried about just catching the ball.
Right.
He said, I was just consumed about not embarrassing myself, catching a ball, having good at-bats.
Never disrespectful. I mean, I think he was a little hard on himself. He was never disrespectful to the media. He just didn't really talk a lot. Didn't want to say too much. And of course, as a young player, you're always very conscious of not speaking for the team. That's not my job. We've got veterans and a manager to do that, and coaches. That's not my job. So I get it.
Think about that team too. You had Rolen, Eckstein, Edmonds. It's pretty big names that would speak for the team. As Piscotty is jammed a little bit, and the pick by Reynolds over at first.
Mark Reynolds, we saw him some at first base, third base, outfield. And the pick, oh, I guess he controlled that. Almost snuck out of there.
Here's Holiday. First pitch is popped up. And Trevor Story puts it away for out number 2. Well, Chad Bettis has struck out 3 thus far, 2 last inning. Cardinals have not had a man get to second base in this game thus far. Cardinals had a base runner, Colton Long, in the 3rd with a walk. And St. Louis still looking for their first hit. And a strike to Adams. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes.
Not saying this against anybody in particular, but I find myself often thinking I'd like to see Matt Adams play more. Just think there's something he brings potentially to this lineup. And I like the way he plays first base. He has very good hands at first base.
He's been very good as a pinch hitter this year.
Yep,
I also like Moss coming off the bench. His power potential, late innings.
It's a good combination.
Sure is. The 2-2. Adams missed so much time last year after hurting the quad. Went through spring training, was healthy, but you're just starting to get back into it too. You know what I mean? It takes a while to get the feel of the grind of every day and the at-bats. And it only comes by playing every day at this level.
You think your lower half of your body doesn't matter to hitting? Talk to Albert Pujols about that.
Right.
Talk to Alan Craig about that. Your base is so important.
Rick, I'm cold. Just want you to know that.
Okay.
And I wasn't anticipating being cold tonight. Of course, you had the heater pointed towards you. Shocking. Unbelievable.
Now you got it.
Unbelievable. Good at bat here by Adams. second walk issued by Chad Bettis. And a ground ball slowly hit towards short. Story steps on the bag. The Cardinals still looking for their first hit. We are through 4 on a chilly night. 3-0 Rockies. Jaime Garcia trailing 3-0 as we move to the top of inning number 5. Here's Trevor Story, followed by Arenado and Gonzalez. Since the start of last season here at Busch Stadium, Garcia 7-4, 1.78 ERA. As that drops into center field. He's given up only 19 earned runs coming into this start tonight here at Busch Stadium.
Check location of this last delivery. Again, a pitch down. This one down and away off the end of the bat. Story went to get it. That was our Chevy Fox Tracks. Garcia has been a dominant pitcher here at home, and he needs to stay in this game and believe that he's still got a chance to be the winner despite the early deficit. The Cardinals score more runs 7th inning or later than any team in baseball.
Kubota Power Stats, Nolan Arenado and the Rockies here in town. We're talking about home runs. Major league leaders, bounce back year for Robinson Cano. Yoenis Cespedes with 12 for the Mets. Todd Frazier with 12 with the Chicago White Sox. Garcia with 5 career starts against the Rockies. 0-3 with an ERA near 9. That ERA ballooned in a start that he had a few years ago at Coors Field. He was left out there to take a beating.
Oh boy, I remember that night. That was tough.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Ground ball. Can they turn two? Nope. Carpenter with his 6th there.
Arenado runs well. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get 2, so Carpenter tries to rush it. Maybe thinking the same thing. The transition never really takes place from glove to hand. And that's another Cardinal error.
Gonzalez has flied out to deep center. Now 35 errors for the Cardinals. He's also grounded out to second. This is where you hope that Garcia does not unravel after the error in what should be 2 outs. Potentially 2, as you mentioned.
But for sure 1. Think about what goes through the mind of a pitcher when he gets the ground ball he wants to one of the game's best hitters and expects things to be different than they are right now. That's what you have to overcome.
There's your ground ball. How about 2 this time? Yep. 4-6-3 on the double play. Don't miss John Goodman night at the ballpark Thursday, July 6th. Fans purchasing the special theme ticket take home their very own exclusive bobblehead honoring a hometown favorite. Get your John Goodman night theme tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
Is that a bowling ball case that he's holding there, John Goodman, from the Big Lebowski?
That would be it. Yes, sir. Our producer.
That is awesome.
Oh, it's great.
I love that
want
movie.
that bobblehead.
Oh
And
my goodness.
our producer Mike Elling just told us he's never seen that movie, nor has he seen The Godfather. That's just un-American.
He's busy doing Cardinals baseball.
But we're not on the air 24/7. I know he's got to get his rest too.
Producer's work is never done.
Two balls and 1 strike on Mark Reynolds.
Garcia's work not done this inning either, but that double play, terrific. He's able to get another ground ball after the error.
Reynolds now with his 7th different team. To me, he is the perfect match for the Colorado Rockies.
Imagine batting practice every day there.
Man. The 3-1. So Reynolds walks for the 2nd time tonight. That's 4 issued by Garcia. Ryan Rayburn has walked and also struck out looking. Garcia has a win against every National League team with the exception of the Rockies. Love to change that here tonight. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. That pitch taken high. A lot of folks expected Tommy Pham to be in uniform tonight. He is at Memphis. Eventually we'll see him, but that's where he's going to stay right now to get his timing back.
John Mozeliak told everyone before the game there was no real obvious move for Tommy Pham. If there was there's an injury or somebody underperforming, but on the offensive side you've got so many good pieces right now that they needed to almost reluctantly to option Tommy Pham out, but I think he was very clear that he'll be back at some point, and I suspect that he will.
That's hit out of play.
Also talked about Peralta getting closer. Alex Reyes closing in on the day where he's going to be able to pitch competitively. I believe the 27th of the month is the date that he's going to be able to pitch again. And Mo saying that he's already up to 7 innings. It's not as if he's not throwing. He's pitching in games and extended spring situations.
I asked Mo the other day about Reyes, and he said, well, he's throwing 98 to 100. He said, but full disclosure, how excited can you get when you got a handful of people watching you? You know, he needs to get into competitive games. AAA.
He was asked, do you like his stuff? And he said, well, how do you not like 101?
Force play at second. Rocky strand a man. So good work by Garcia after the air. In 2010, and the Rockies with only 4 wins in that time here at this ballpark. There's Jeremy Hazelbaker. Rockies looking to win 5 in a row for the first time since a 6-game streak back in September of 2014. This begins a pretty tough road for them. 9-game road trip starting here in St. Louis. Goes through Pittsburgh and then Boston. They have won 11 of 19 away from Coors Field.
So a potential for things to turn around a bit in the National League West. The Dodgers, on the other hand, are playing an easy schedule the next 10 days. They have 3 last place teams in succession, including the Angels. And their hope is that they'll start pulling away from some of those teams that are very close to each other in that race at this point. I don't know if you call it a race on May 16th, but the games count. You'd like to stretch it out a little bit. And the Cardinals on the other side don't want it stretched out any further than it already is with the Chicago Cubs.
Chicago trailing in their game, bottom of the 6th, 1-0 against Milwaukee. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Hazelbaker slowly too short and safe. Cardinals have their first hit, an infield hit by Jeremy Hazelbaker.
Well, the shift often causes, Dan, confusion on the defensive side as whose ball is this? And I think Story and Arenado not 100% sure. Neither one of them really charges the ball well enough. Arenado, you mentioned, terrific fielding third baseman, but he's playing in a different place there and didn't judge the speed well enough of Hazelbaker. We've seen that speed.
Here's a lead miss, Diaz. The ball inside. Freddie Gonzalez fired today by the Atlanta Braves. Pittsburgh in the 6th inning, leading the Braves 11-6. He had no chance this year with that cast of characters that they have in Atlanta. None.
Really likable guy, just tough to see that. But performance game.
Here's a 1-0. Chopped off the plate and foul. The idea for the Braves that they were trying to sell to the fan base is, look, we know we're going to struggle, but we move into our new ballpark next year, we're going to be a good team.
Well,
they're not close to being a
no.
good team for next year. Now they're going to go out and spend some money. They're going to have money to spend. They have a very low payroll, but still, there's a lot of holes on that team. Farm system is much improved. They've restocked it with all the deals that they made, but still, long ways to go. The 2-1 pitch to Diaz. Colton Wong on deck, 3-1.
Been impressed with the plate awareness, strike zone awareness of Aledmys Diaz. His power didn't see coming. The quick bat, the upper deck home run. No idea we'd see that, but his understanding of the strike zone along with it has been part of why he's performed well.
Arenado battling the lights, it looked like.
Wouldn't be the first time an infielder lost the ball in the lights on a ground ball, and it almost happened. Here he is looking up, taking a peek again. Here's the ground ball. It's hit so high he looks up and I think he sees lights, and in the middle of it somewhere a baseball. I think he's kind of fortunate to catch that ball.
Ooh, LeMahieu is off the bag. Remember the neighborhood play that we've talked about before? Is it reviewable? Yes, it is. I thought it at the time that he may have stepped away early, and now seeing the replay confirms it.
That could be huge in this game. It could lead to some things going on for the Cardinals here offensively. The difference between an out and a runner at first base and 2 on and nobody out is huge. Is his foot on the base when he catches it or not? I don't think so. Again, the ball has to be in the glove, the back of the glove. And I think they may call him safe at second base. The fans agree. Now the question is, does Mission Control agree? It's always interesting to me to watch players watch the reviews on the scoreboard too. As LeMahieu's looking at it, you'd think he would know already because he was there.
Are you concerned with this type of play? A middle infielder is going to get hurt because they have to stay on the bag.
I would be more concerned about it had they decided not to tighten up on the slide rule at second base. If for guys not sliding past the bag, for no roll slides, which you really weren't supposed to do anyway, but you got away with it. I think as long as they make sliding into second a safer enterprise, I think it's okay to do the neighborhood play at second. Again, it's a retraining though, Dan, of infielders, because they're used to, hey, if I'm in the neighborhood, that's fine. Not good enough anymore. Let's see if it's good enough here. I'm surprised. Foot on the base. Now it's off. Well, or is it?
See, and I think you just answered the question of what they're facing. See, that to me right there shows it that he's off the bag. The other one, very tough to tell. So the call stands, and there's one out. Here's Kolten Wong, who walked back in the third.
I cannot think of another call, at least in recent memory, as it relates to reviews, where I've been confused about the outcome. I mean, for the most part, once you see it, you see it. It is what it is. But in that case, I'm surprised.
1 ball, 1 strike. Time of the review, 2 minutes, 1 second.
Maybe another minute longer would have worked.
Just keep watching it and watching it and watching it
till you see what you want to see.
Exactly. What's interesting here with Bettis, you see him in the first 5 innings and how he's worked in his games. 2.93 ERA. The 6th inning on, ERA is near 12. The 2-1 pitch. Went 6 1/3 in his last start. Took a no decision. 8-7 Rockies win. That was against Arizona.
8 punch-outs in that game.
Last 4 starts, he's 1-2. He's given up 16 earned in 25 innings. The 2-2 pitch to Wong. Hits it the other way. Base hit for Kolten Wong.
So the shift has not been friendly to the Colorado Rockies this inning. An infield hit with a third baseman playing shortstop. Now you've got a third baseman playing shortstop again and trying to make a backhanded play. Kolten Wong seeing the left side of the infield open. He was pitched away. He hit it away.
So here's what we were talking about earlier. Brandon Moss, he'll pinch hit for Jaime Garcia. The Cardinal pinch hitters, all told, .359 average with 8 home runs. Moss represents the tying run. First pitch to him. In the air, center field. Blackmon back in front of the track to make the catch. Runners tag up.
Again, we talked about the shift being a game changer as far as how you defend. It also includes the pitcher. Look at the pitcher leaving the mound to cover third base. He understands that if Arenado would have got that throw off, if he's not at third base, the runner goes first to third. So there's some new ways of covering bases that are caused by the shift. It's again a bit of the retooling that's going on that has to be practiced and has to be thought through.
Here's a look at Matt Bowman. Interesting move by Mike Matheny in the 5th to lift Garcia, but he wanted to go for it with Moss. That pitch inside to Carpenter. Can see it either way. If you let Garcia stay in the game, get a couple more innings out of him, or go for it. Cardinals not getting a lot of offense anyway, so try it with Moss.
Off day yesterday, bullpen more rested. A lot of factors go into that.
Last 8 games for Carpenter, 5 home runs, 9 RBIs, and 10 runs scored.
Really, at 82 pitches for Garcia, you're just trading off 1 more inning for an RBI opportunity.
2-1 the count.
Another example, by the way, with the ball that Moss hit, on the ball not carrying very well here tonight.
in the air. High drive into deep right field. Near the wall as Carpenter gave it a ride. Another example of that. So the Cardinals strand 2. 3-0 after 5. Every Sunday home game here at the ballpark. Free North Star ice cream treats in the Ford Plaza while supplies last, and we'll have one this Sunday. It's now 52 degrees, a slight wind blowing in, and we've seen that contribute to the ball not leaving the ballpark. Chevy called to the pen. Matt Bowman is on for St. Louis.
I like a lot of what I've seen from Matt Bowman. Seems very competitive to me. He's a guy that's got more and more comfortable to be pitching at this level. I know he was, say, nervous and admitted to us that he was really amped up when he first came up to the big leagues, but his stuff's good enough, and his sinking fastball, I think, is a nice weapon to have out of the bullpen. Numbers, 4.85 ERA. I think he's even been a little better than that. He's had a couple of bad games, but for the most part, I like what I've seen from Matt Bowman.
DJ LeMahieu at the plate. 3-0 Colorado. As we play here in the top of the 6th. 0-1 pitch. And a ground ball hit to Colton Wong. One away. What'd you think of Jaime Garcia tonight?
Thought his command was off more than usual. The walks hurt him. The 4 walks. Felt like it was more than 82 pitches really in his 5 innings of work.
If you can't watch your games on television, you can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just head to the App Store, download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in, stream the Cardinals wherever you go.
Plus side is Jaime's given his team a chance to win. And with his Cardinal offense being what it's been, they're in this game.
Dustin Garneau, RBI single back in the 4th. Max Scherzer 6 1/3 tonight against the Mets, and he strikes out 10. They're in the 7th, and Chase Anderson, the starter for Milwaukee, is not allowed a hit. Keep an eye on that. 2-1 the count. Let's take a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal.
Well, you just saw a slider from Matt Bowman, and you're going to see that 16.3% of the time. Has a fastball and a changeup. Fastball has good movement and sink to it.
Hits sharply to third, off the glove of Carpenter. Long throw, not in time.
scoring at a base hit as Carpenter is able to knock it down on the backhand. He really never got solid enough with his base to be able to make a strong throw.
It's not an error, but again, very well could have been, maybe should have been an out. So you have the extended innings for the pitching staff, and we saw that with Garcia.
Garcia's biggest issue in the 4th inning, and I thought his stuff was good enough to win this game, and Cardinals still may win this game. But I think the leadoff walk to Reynolds hurt him in the 4th inning. Leadoff walks usually do.
Chase Anderson is now through 7. No-hit baseball against Chicago. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out and a runner at first. I mentioned this the other day, and I think I was on the air with you, but when I watch Bowman, his delivery and just his body size reminds me a little bit of Tim Lincecum.
That's interesting, because I felt the same way about him, and there I go thinking like you again. I think part of it is his stature. It's his long arm action. It's the way he tilts back. It's the long step to the plate. Everything but the hair.
Give it time. Lincecum is, it looks like, getting ready to sign with the Angels. They need any kind of pitching help. And Bowman picks up the strikeout, his first here in the 6th. What's on tap brought to you by Budweiser. Adam Wainwright going for the Cardinals will come your way at 6:30. You'll see that exclusively here on Fox Sports Midwest. There's Charlie Blackmon. Singleton scored back in the 3rd. They go along with a pair of groundouts. The back pocket is out of the uniform pad, the left side. So are we talking a fine here? I'll let you go down and tell them.
We were going to talk about High Pockets Kelly again.
No, we're not talking about George Kelly, also known to those closest to him as High Pockets.
Played for the New York Giants, Brooklyn, the Cubs, and Cincinnati many moons ago.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Blackmon rips it foul. The ball that was up. Did he get a glove on that? I didn't see it.
Got a glove on it, but didn't make the play.
That's got to come up with that.
That's an error for prolonging the time at bat. Isn't that the official ruling?
Yes. 7-1.2 Part A. The 2-2 pitch to Charlie Blackmon on its way.
One of the things you notice about the game's best hitters is their bat speed. You focus on that. It's not their strength. It's not that they can lift 400 pounds, although some of them are very strong, but it's bat speed. Bat speed is how you hit the ball a long way.
The 2-2. That speed there as he drives it out to right, but the catch is made by Stephen Piscotty. Scoreless inning for Bowman. 3-0 Rockies. Tuesday against the Cubs, and David Eckstein will be here. Get your bobblehead with David, and tickets at Cardinals.com/BudBash. The MVP of the 2006 World Series. Piscotty to short, one away. Cardinals were wondering what would happen at shortstop after the loss of Edgar Renteria, who signed with Boston. And it was David Eckstein who comes to St. Louis and becomes a World Series MVP and a fan favorite.
And I think, using most measurements that are typical to baseball scouts, a one-tool player. You'd say, for those of us that had a chance to be around him and watch him play, he really was a two-tool player. Not only could he hit, but he had a huge heart and desire to go along with that. And did he have power? No. Did he have range? No. Did he run fast? No. Did he have a strong arm? No. But he just got the job done. But he could flat out hit and had a lot of heart.
He was at the fantasy camp, as you know, being the commissioner that pays you a lot of money
and has no power
to be the camp commissioner. He was there.
Figurehead.
As Holiday looks at a ball high, and he said, you don't know it at the time, but everywhere you go, you're introduced as the MVP of the World Series, and because of that, it changes your life. There's Parra. They picked him up in the offseason. Versatile outfielder, former Gold Glover. 3-2 hit off the end of the bat to high pockets LeMahieu. And it brings in Adams with 2 outs. On the cusp of a quality start. Get through your 6 innings. Bettis, De La Rosa, tomorrow night starter for the Rockies. All the other pitchers 26 since 2015. What we were told about this right-hander is that good stuff, bad stuff Every fifth day he battles and will get you through at least 5, one way or another.
And he works quickly. Like he's on a time clock. He's ready now.
The 0-2. Ground ball into the shift. And the Cardinals go quietly here in inning number 6. Trevor Story leads it off when we come back. It's 3-0 Rockies here in game 1. See how old they are, what they have done since 2015. I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I don't think Arenado gets enough of the attention as the other two.
I think that RBI total right there proves your point. And those numbers on that graphic. 25 years of age, those 3 guys, we've seen all 3 of them already this season, and I think it's just great for baseball to have these young stars that are flourishing and will become the next generation of stars. Of course, there's somebody 18 years of age right now will be the next Nolan Arenado somewhere, and it always turns over, doesn't it?
Manny Machado, another one that
yes
is in there.
Well, it's too simplistic to say that the game's best are Trout and Harper and then stop the conversation, and I think we do that too often.
Well, Story is also in a group of very good young shortstops making an impact now in the game of baseball. Remember, for the longest time it was Derek Jeter, Garciaparra, A-Rod, that collection that came through.
Barry Larkin a little bit before them.
Cal Ripken, you know, that new look of a shortstop that could be a high pockets type
big guy
look.
Yes.
You know, 6'3", 6'4". Hit for power. His Story strikes out for the second time. That's now 55 strikeouts for Trevor Story. But now we're starting to see this next wave of very good athletic young players come through. You're just joining us. Jaime Garcia, 5 innings for the Cardinals tonight. Matt Bowman in his second inning of work, 2 strikeouts. And here is Nolan Arenado, RBI base hit back in the 3rd. All kinds of room down that first base line as Adams is well off the bag at first base and the right field line. The 1-1 pitch.
another one of those realities of a big shift when the Cardinals are doing what they're doing with Matt Adams. That's a long way to get over there on a ground ball. Arenado runs well. You better get right to that bag in a hurry. Get over.
There he is.
Hurry.
Hustling, hustling. He's there. There's the out.
Oh, nicely done, Danny.
Thank you, sir. Meanwhile, that's what you do to stay busy in the bullpen. There's Tyler Lyons rubbing up the baseball. You know, Rick, over the years, we've had some great moments here at the ballpark.
That 5-3 is up there.
It's in the top 10 calls. Earlier this year, though, we had a home run that had to be replayed.
And there it goes.
We screamed, it's gone. Had to build up the replay excitement. Again, in the top 10 over the years. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carlos Gonzalez.
Dan, as teams have to adjust to shifts in the new age of baseball, so do play-by-play guys. You're doing a great job.
How do you write it in your book? Let's just say Carpenter, who's going to shift over from third to the second base side. Let's say he grounds out here. How do you write it down?
I write it 5-3 and hope I remember.
Yeah, I have to write shift, so I remember. Inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cardinals will have Molina, Hazelbaker, and Diaz coming up. Their hits tonight both have been infield hits. Hit the other way, slicing towards the gap in left center. Holiday is there to make the catch. Nice work by Bowman. Time to stretch. Game 1 of this 3-game set, and the Rockies are on top. Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Glad you're with us wherever you may be. We hope you're enjoying Cardinals baseball tonight. Molina on the first pitch to third. Arenado over to Reynolds for the first out. The Cardinals with 2 hits tonight. An infield hit by Hazelbaker, infield hit by Wong, and that's been it. Find the best seat for your buck. It's the StubHub app. Best seats wherever you may be. StubHub. Here's Hazelbaker. And a pitch in the dirt. Dean Kieckeffer begins to throw in the Cardinals' pen. Crowd tonight of 41,109. 41109.
Last few innings, the Cardinals have done a lot of first ball hitting, and I can hear a lot of people saying, why are they doing that? And it is frustrating when outs happen quickly for somebody who's pitching well. But the other side of that is it may be the best pitch you're going to get in that at bat, and I think it makes sense to do it. Now, if you're expecting and waiting for this guy to walk 3 guys, that's not going to happen right now. He's pounding the strike zone, and the best way to get him out is to turn some pitches around. And the best one you get may be pitch number 1.
I mentioned the Cubs broke up the no-hitter for Milwaukee. Only no-hitter at Miller Park was thrown by a Cub. It was Carlos Zambrano. And you may remember it was against Houston, and the game had to be played at a neutral site due to Hurricane Ike.
Oh, yeah.
And so Carlos Zambrano pitched a no-hitter at Miller Park. Not many people in attendance, but history was made.
Are we sure it happened? I mean, there were some people there.
Some were there, and they took it in. 3-2 pitch and a strikeout of Hazelbaker. Juan Nieves, the only Brewer, has thrown a no-hitter back in 1987.
Looks like that was off the plate on our Plaza Tire Fox tracks, but too close to take.
Strikeout number 4. Here's Diaz. 0 for 2 tonight.
The Padres are the team, I believe. They have not had a no-hitter. Is that correct?
The other team that had not had a no-hitter, along with San Diego, the Mets. And then that changed against the Cardinals. Johan Santana. Carlos Beltran, you may remember, pulled a ball down the third base line that looked to be fair, ruled foul. It was 134 pitches for Santana. He was never the same after that game. 3-1 with 2 outs and nobody on. Ground ball and a base hit. Aledmys Diaz.
We've had a few hits in this game on pitches that weren't even in the strike zone. That pitch below the zone. We saw Blackmon do it earlier. We saw Arenado do it. How about Colton Wong's turn? How about a big fly, Danny?
He's got one this year. Was hit the previous homestand down the right field line. First pitch, a strike.
It's our home run inning after all.
Now's the time to do it. Talking a lot about the stance of Colton Wong. Does he lay the bat on the shoulder? Hands, are they going to be higher? He's still trying to figure out where he wants to get comfortable. Fights it off, and it's a base hit. The tying run will come to the plate, and it'll be Randal Grichuk who will pinch hit.
Danny Colton's been, I would say, very good the last couple of weeks, defensively and offensively. It seems as if he's turned a corner. Now that corner always has twists and turns after it, but I think he's comfortable at the plate, and his defense much more together. His feet are together with his hands, not rushing. He's playing as we've seen him play before.
Estevez and Logan throwing in the pen for the Rockies. Who's left for the Cardinals after Grichuk is going to be used here? Jerko, Tejada, and Fryer. And the bullpen is ready to roll. They've used Bowman for 2 innings. Bettis, by the way, has given up 6 home runs. All 6 have been on the road. One swing of the bat and Grichuk could tie it. Base hit, left field. A 2-out rally for St. Louis. It's now 3-1. Randal Grichuk gets the Cardinals on the board.
The Cardinals have excelled on the offensive side this season with their power, but their biggest plus has been their ability to have pinch hits. Randal Grichuk comes through. Diaz rounds third and heads home, and the Cardinals get on the scoreboard. That'll be it for Bettis. Walt Weiss, our Chevy call to the bullpen. Cardinals inching closer.
Take over for Bettis and face Carpenter. The tying runs are on. Go ahead run will come to the plate. Carpenter last time up sent one to the wall in right. Any other night, a little warmer night, certainly that ball is gone.
Carpenter's been very good against left-handed pitching. Logan, 7-year Major League veteran, is having a good season and a busy one with those 17 appearances you saw. And a key moment in this game. If Carpenter can come through, the Cardinals with 3 straight 2-out hits.
Diaz, Wong, Grichuk, and now Carpenter. Strike one.
We talked about the Cardinals scoring a lot of runs, 7th inning and later. Good time to add to that number.
Lefties hitting just 133 against him. Grichuk with that base hit, his first RBI as a pinch hitter this year. He's now 2 for 6 in that role. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Danny, the top 2 slugging percentages in the National League belong to the Cardinals and the Rockies. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning, and we do not have an extra base hit yet.
Carpenter would love to change that here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on, and a 2-run lead for the Rockies. Carpenter hits it sharply to LeMahieu. Makes the play. He stays with it, makes the play. Cardinals strand 2, but they do get on the board. Hayward his first home run as a member of the Chicago Cubs. Chevy called to the pen, Seung-Hwan Oh. Right-hander comes in for the 19th time this year. It's a 2-run lead for the Rockies. And Mark Reynolds will be the first hitter. Bettis, the starter for Colorado, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned as he threw 104 pitches tonight. Reynolds with a pair of walks and a run scored. Saw that many times. Mark Reynolds does not get cheated. My goodness. Hit .230 last year for the Cardinals, hit 13 home runs. Go ahead and say it. I know you want to. Just do it. Let's move on.
Doesn't get cheated because there's no cheating at the University of Virginia because they have an honor code. Is that what you wanted me to say?
Hey, Rick, where did you go to college? Well, Dan, let me tell you about it. I went to Virginia. Go ahead.
I'm done.
Wonder what Ryan Zimmerman's doing tonight. Also went to the University of Virginia.
Let me check on my ex-UVA guy app.
Here's Parham with 1 out and nobody on. Oh, and 2.
He attacks the strike zone, doesn't he? And he doesn't attack the middle of the strike zone. He attacks corners. And you've got to have pinpoint control to be able to do that. A lot of quality pitches from O.
I'm sure he's done it. I don't remember him pitching in to lefties or righties as he strikes out the second man tonight. Everything's away.
Does a good job of expanding the zone a little bit. Gets ahead, then can go a couple of inches off the plate.
This is his 19th game, and in 10 of those, there's been multiple strikeouts from O. That's it out of play.
Zimmerman's 1 for 3 against the Mets, by the way.
Thanks, Rick. 0-1 pitch. I think I need you to focus a little bit more on the task at hand.
Well, you know what the task at hand is? It's Piscotty, Holiday, and Adams in the bottom of the 8th.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a 2-run game. Cardinals haven't had a lot going offensively thus far, but it's not over yet.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Far from over.
1 pitch away from striking out the side. That time he got him. .52 degrees here at Busch Stadium on a cool, chilly night. A 3-1 lead for the Rockies. Bettis, very impressive, 6 2/3. Arenado, an RBI. Jaime Garcia, 5 innings, 3 hits. And Colton Wong is 2 for 2. Here's Stephen Piscotty.
Pitcher, Dan, is Carlos Estevez. He's just 23 years of age, from the Dominican Republic. Rookie pitching in the 8th. They must like what he features.
Piscotty is grounded out to second, short, and lined out. This is our Chevy call to the pen.
Piscotty, by the way, has extended his hitting streak the last 3 games on his last at bat in the game. 7-game hitting streak on the line here.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Big gap in left center. And he struck him out. Pitch at 98. And it brings in Holiday. Holiday is over 3. All the hits have come from the 6th position in this lineup and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. No hits yet. Fly ball into shallow right. Quickly 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. So with 2 outs, here is Matt Adams. This right-hander throws hard. 98 on that pitch.
Looks like he likes to throw the fastball up in the zone too, with a little hop to it, especially when he gets ahead. Whoa. That's more than a little hop.
One ball and 2 strikes. It's tapped foul and a broken bat. I don't know if you saw this the other day. Carlos Martinez hit 101 on the gun.
Yeah.
And his changeup was at 91. I mean, can you imagine
that?
But
it registered on the scoreboard and on everybody's statistical references as a fastball. Right. But it was a changeup.
When you know you got a pretty good arm when you want to rear back and throw 101.
And it was easy.
Yeah.
Still, I don't want to say easy 101, but it was a smooth 101.
2-2. Hit in the air to right field. Carlos Gonzalez makes the catch, and the Cardinals go quietly here in the bottom of the 8th. The Rockies have the lead as we head to the 9th inning. It's 3-1. Right-hander Dean Kekeffer in our Chevy Cole to the pin. Hitting in 2/3 the other night against the Dodgers.
Yeah, the 4 strikeouts just popped, didn't it? First batter he faced, he struck out, and other than the home run he gave up to Corey Seager, really a perfect major league debut. He was certainly amped up about it, said he got texts and calls and really 2 days worth of that from family and friends, and excited to see him being a big leaguer. And now at home. It's not his home yet, but he'd like it to be.
Dustin Garneau. Cardinals have said Kekeffer is more than just a lefty specialist. They will use him as an innings eater. They feel very comfortable with him facing right-handers. And a fly ball lifted out to right. Piscotty puts it away. Seth Maness saw a doctor at an MRI, anti-inflammatory medicine right now for his sore elbow. Reevaluate him in about a week or so.
Mike Matheny was asked about him before the game today, and he said, look, all players, most pitchers don't feel great every day they pitch. They're trying to get their right release point, and he certainly had a lot of understanding for Seth and appreciation for him trying to work through not being right. He wanted to get him right, and then once you kind of realize that you're at the end of the line, you start to realize, you know what, my arm doesn't feel very good, and it isn't just a little soreness, it's more than that. So this is not a player hiding it. I think that gets misunderstood in this game. You think that a player is, well, why didn't he say he was hurt? Well, then you'd, as Mike said today, you'd have no players. Now, it doesn't mean they can't play hurt. Of course they can. But if it's affecting their ability as it was with Seth Maness, then you need to get it taken care of.
Beautiful bunt here and no chance for Carpenter. Christian Adames with a bunt base hit.
Now that's how you get a bunt base hit. Perfectly placed. And again, when you're bunting for a hit, it's down the line or foul. It's never, you never want to miss towards the pitcher or you're out. You miss wrong to the left and it's just a strike.
Now that's Charlie Blackmon.
It's a George Kissel, Nick Leyva bunting truism. It was taught years ago.
Talked about this the other night. There's a new book out called The Cardinals Way. And in that book, the author, Howard Megdal, went to visit with all different members of the Cardinals organization. And one of the people that he found was George Kissel's grandson. And they found all different types of teachings that have never been seen before. He said the stuff is just amazing. Little nuances of the game that he would write about.
His grandson was a coach in the minor leagues with the Cardinals for a while.
George now a member of the Cardinals Hall of Fame. No balls, 2 strikes on Charlie Blackmon. I'd love to get to the ballpark early, especially on the road. And it was great when George Kissel was with us. There's a strikeout. George would get to the ballpark so early. Always had a fungo bat, and he'd be walking the outfield. That was his exercise. Walk around the track and then come in the dugout and just have the chance to chat with him. I didn't realize it at the time. I do now, just how special a man he was and what he has meant to this organization. So many players he helped over the years that still it's making a huge impact with what we see on the field today. Here's Trevor Story.
What Kekeffer will do with right-handers, he has a fastball, changeup, and a breaking ball, and right-handers traditionally, as he describes himself, he'll use more of the fastball changeup to right-handers and the breaking pitch more sparingly, and to lefties it's much more sinker slider. Does not throw particularly hard. He's not going to wow you with the gun. You know, we asked him when he first came up, well, tell us about your velocity, and he said, well, I don't really normally talk about that because I don't care about it, because it's not really that high. But I let batters tell me how they're reacting to it. That's really what matters. And he's got a little deception in his delivery.
Open up some eyes at the Arizona Fall League along with Aledmys Diaz. Cardinals gave him a long look at spring training, and what they said is keep doing what you're doing. Just not a spot right now, but you're on the radar. You will make it to the big leagues at some point this year. And here he is. The 2-0 pitch. Love seeing major league debuts, and you love to see players that are rewarded for all the bus rides and a long time spent in the minor leagues.
Well, Dan, you've heard me say it 100 times. It's not just a celebration for him, but for his family and his friends, neighbors, high school coach. And teammates down in the minor leagues too.
One thing I hear from Kiekefer and others, and Dean was on my Caravan this past year, and he said, you see all the other guys getting called up, you realize you really do have a shot. Cardinals make those players plenty aware they do have a shot.
Hope is a good thing. Cardinals have hope, by the way.
Bottom of the ninth coming up. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. Raise 1-2 right now. And by your local Volkswagen dealer. Welcome those in that were watching the St. Louis Blues drop game 2 in the Western Conference Finals. Cardinals need to come back in this game. It's now 3-1 in favor of the Colorado Rockies. This is our Chevy call to the pen, and a lefty closing things out.
McGee, a popular name in St. Louis, but not for Jake McGee. 12 saves and 14 appearances for the left-hander. He's got a very good arm. He throws hard, but I'm not sure he can throw harder than the last guy we just saw.
51, a very popular number too.
I will say so.
Makes you wonder if there's some type of connection to Willie McGee and this left-hander on the mound, if he grew up idolizing Willie. And a strike to Yadier Molina.
Sounds like a job for Jim Hayes, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And knowing Jim, he'll be all over it.
You bet he will.
Been around a long time. Started in pro ball back in 2005. Was with the Rays for 5 years. Now pitching for the Rockies and greeted in this 9th inning to a base hit.
That's all we needed to get the crowd a little amped up. A lot of cold people here at the ballpark tonight. Can understand some of the no-shows, but a leadoff single in the 9th inning, trailing by 2. That adds some excitement here at the ballpark.
Here is Hazelbaker. He represents the tying run.
Hazelbaker's had some good moments against left-handed pitching.
Sure has.
Which I believe is why he's still at the plate. You've got Jed Jerko as a possibility from the right side. He has power.
The 0-1.
Ooh, he had a pitch he could hit there. He recognized it, just got underneath it. The hanger that may have been the best pitch he's going to get this at bat. Just sat up in the zone.
See if he comes with a fastball here on 0-2. He does, and goodbye. Aledmys Diaz stroked a base hit to left field back in the 7th and scored the only run tonight for St. Louis.
Third time in this game that Hazelbaker's been caught looking. Maybe right man, right spot here.
Diaz pops it up into shallow right. Outfield playing very deep. And Gonzalez comes in to make the catch. Chad Bettis is our Budweiser player of the game. 6 2/3, 5 hits, gave up 1 run, walked 2, and struck out 4. He was impressive here tonight.
Yeah, he was. And pitch count got up over 100. Bullpen's been impressive behind him. And a couple of those hits were really just scratch hits against him. Not like there were a lot of balls hit hard off of Bettis. He was impressive.
And Wong looks at a strike. Worked quickly, pounded the strike zone.
Rockies doing what I like better in this situation. They're not giving up the stolen base. They're backing up. They're holding him on just a bit to keep the runner from taking second base.
As you mentioned, normally you'd see a right-hander come in, or at least a right-handed bat to face a lefty pitcher, but lefty's hitting .438 against McGee this year. Missed outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch. There goes Molina. And it's hit out of play. And the Cardinals down to their final strike. The 2-2. Back into this bullpen, some hard throwers. Estevez was 98, 99. McGee from the left side is throwing 97, 98. Hard game, boy.
Kind of guys you want in Colorado.
The 2-2. Jed Gyorko would be next if Wong can extend this ball game.
Dan, the point, and it's a minor point, but I think still worth mentioning, and on the fielder's indifference with them allowing Yadi to be at second, a ground ball deep in the hole at short does not end the game now because of the speed of Kolten Wong. So when you give that up, I wonder statistically whether or not that really makes sense to do it. I know the reason is you want the first baseman back farther to increase the likelihood of him catching a ball hit to the right side. Just wonder which is more important.
(3-2). Wong has not seen a breaking ball in this at bat.
I don't think he's going to see one here. Not sure what that ball was in the dirt. The ball just got away from him. But the 3-2 game on the line, I would think you're going to get a fastball here. Gear up. Give it a ride.
The 3-2 pitch to Kolten Wong. Good at bat. So the tying runs are on. Gyorko could win it.
Good time for this game's first extra base hit.
Outfield extremely deep for Jed Gyorko. Inside, ball one. Carpenter is on deck. The 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. Two and one. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
I didn't mind him swinging 2-0, and I don't mind him swinging 3-1 if he zones a pitch right in the zone of Jerko. Let it rip.
The 3-1. Oh, healthy cut. So here we go again. The Cardinals down to their final strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th.
With 2 runners moving. Maybe a long single even. Scores Kolten Wong.
The 3-2. Game over. Rockies hold on. 3-1 the final.
Not a lot of hits for the Cardinals here today. Bettis picks up his 4th victory. Garcia wasn't bad himself. Unfortunately, the Rockies picked up a few early on. Cardinals bullpen, Dan, terrific today. They gave him a shot here in the 9th inning.
So the Rockies take game 1 of this 3-game series. The final of 3-1. McGee, the strikeout of Jed Jerko. Post-game show next.